With GitHub, we have to get GitHub credentials, and that requires you to have a GitHub account. So let's jump over into the browser and log into GitHub real quick. Okay, we're in GitHub here. We're going to open up the panel here to go to our settings. Then we're going to scroll all the way down before we get to developer settings. Make sure you're not creating a GitHub app, you're creating an Auth app. And we're going to click here to create our new one. Generally in GitHub, I'll create 2 different versions of the Auth app for my websites. One of them is for development and one of them is for test. And the reason for that is this authorization callback URL. If we go back to the Better Auth documentation, it says here that we need to set our redirect URL to localhost 3000 API auth callback GitHub. So basically, when it asks GitHub for a user's information, because GitHub is going to be processing for you the login, it needs a place to redirect you back, basically this callback here. And so on development, we're going to be running localhost 3000, like the base URL that we set earlier. But here, we only have room for one callback URL. And so if we have one for our development, well, we obviously can't point it back to localhost 3000. That's only for development. We need whatever our development production domain is. And so that's what the second OAuth app is for. It's for our production domain that we're going to be providing. So usually I'll just create, right, if the name of the project, for example, was tutorial, right, then I would create tutorial-test for the localhost one, the one that we're going to be using during development, and then create another one for the production app. So to fill out the rest of it, the homepage URL, http://localhost 3000. And then we can just go back here, copy this bit here. This is our callback URL, as they call it here. They call it the redirect URL. Both are equivalent, right? Once we have all of this filled out, we can register the application. Now be very careful with the next steps, because when you generate this client secret and for some reason you navigate from this page, you get disconnected from the internet, you're not going to be able to see this. You're going to need to generate a new client secret. It's a whole hassle to do so. So get it right on the first run. So if we go back to the Better Auth documentation, it'll show us how we can configure the provider. So what we're going to do is just copy this portion here into our code base, right? So where we have this commented out ellipses, we're just going to paste in social providers. Right, first we're going to have GitHub here, and for some reason there's some extra tabs, so just pretty that up a little bit. You don't actually have to do that, but I'll do it just to make it look better. We need our client GitHub client ID and GitHub client secret. So first we'll deal with the client ID because it's less tricky. Make sure that these are consistent between what we have in our environment variables here and what we have in Auth. So what we're going to do is just copy this, paste it here, then go into GitHub, grab our client ID here, hit equals, paste that in there. Then the next step, GitHub client secret, and save that. Go back into our GitHub dashboard here for our OAuth app. We're going to generate a new client secret. And then, see this, make sure to copy your new client secret now. You won't be able to see it again. You'd have to delete it and then create another one. So, copy, all right, and go back into our .environment, paste it in there. Make sure that you're pasting everything. Don't transcribe anything. You don't want any inadvertent mistakes to derail you. And these environment variable errors are really hard to suss out. And so, yeah, make sure that you're just copy pasting everything. Make life easier for you. The last step just explains to you how you're going to be signing in with GitHub. So we'll save that for when we revisit our login page.